You're listening to the EPN Community Podcast. When your team is on location, for example at a large venue for a big event, you need to know where they are. Are they in the right place? Is anyone missing? And when a situation starts developing, who is closest to deal with it? Also, each team member needs to have at hand the most up-to-date information, and having the ability to message each other really helps everyone to stay organised and on top of things. There.app was created to address all these issues. Founder and President Seth Kenvin and Head of Business Development Colleen Coll join me for a chat about the app. We also share some skiing stories and our favourite feel-good music. We start with Seth. He shares the story of what inspired him to create the app.
That was the sort of seminal moment, I guess. I was on a ski trip with some friends. There were 8 of us, and it was like kind of in off the grid area with a lot of like logistics involved. And it turned out we were staying in 3 different places, and we had to do like these lengthy drives and coordinating, corralling people from 3 different places who were already exhausted to like be in the right place at the right time was a hassle. And besides that, like we set up a WhatsApp group to communicate, and 2 of the 8 of us didn't download WhatsApp, so they had to be text messaged separately. And one of the people actually worked at Dropbox at the time, and he set up a Dropbox folder for us to aggregate all our photos and videos. And then different people were paying for different things, and like the accounting was being done. And it was like partly just the notion of like, oh God, it'd be much better if there was like one environment that consolidated all these considerations. And then like basically like it turned into a company idea, because I then connected that to a lot of like travel oriented and location oriented work I've done in business, like, exhibiting at trade shows, organizing board meetings, shooting video, and realizing there was the same sort of like issue of attention getting like, distracted in too many directions while trying to execute on these projects, and a few other aspects of like working on your feet that just haven't been well serviced by collaborative apps. So we're working on the collaborative app for situations where you have to get work done on your feet.
That sounds pretty cool. Does that mean you can actually ski then, Seth?
This is one of my
but not brilliantly. I mean, is it a case of like you can go?
I'm pretty ambitious skier. I'm like pretty into outdoor sports. So actually, like this trip, it's an area where there was only one ski lift, but they had like massive amounts of skiable terrain. So you would go up this one ski lift and then hike, and often like have to like avalanche qualify a downhill line before you took it. So it was some of the most challenging skiing I've done on that same trip.
I can imagine by the time, if you've got a large group and it's just one ski lift, by the time the last person's at the top, I mean, the first bunch of people are already at the bottom of the slope. Where's everybody? So
what about you, Bob? What about you, Bob? Do you ski?
Right. Well, I did try it once. And I did the baby slope, which I thought, I could do this. This is great. No problem. So we went up a ski lift, which meant by the time we got to the top, I didn't get off it. I fell off it.
Oh.
Because you go, I better go. And then next thing you know, you sort of like, you've disappeared into a snowdrift. Nobody can see you anymore.
Did you fall off it when the ground was like more than 10 feet below you?
Well, the ground was getting closer and closer, and we're getting and I could just see at the top it was going to turn around and come back down, and I didn't want to sort of like go round and round on it, so I just abandoned the ski lift, get off it, ended up disappearing into a snowdrift. I did go hurtling down at quite a speed. Remember what the ski instructor said, which was to do a slope out and then use, I'm doing hand gestures, which you can't see on the podcast. You sort of slope out and then you lean to one side and then you can turn. So I did that. So I ended up going back up the hill, and everybody's looking at me going, he's going up the hill. Why is he going up the hill? We're going down at speed. So to sort of like, I thought, again, I aborted the whole attempt and just fell over. What about you, Colleen? You must have a ski story.
Oh, I tried during early dating. Someone tried to teach me in my 30s, and I'd learn anything once, but it didn't go well. But I love ski resorts, so I just decided to focus my attention on being the lodging expert and just to make sure that everybody, and as the event planner, make sure everybody has a good time during the après ski experience. But so I've been actually to Vail. I've been to a few smaller resorts on the East Coast, and I've been to one of the best, St. Moritz. But I just, I tried, and in watching these kids on the baby slopes learning, I mean, these small kids, and I just, it's not that I envy them, but it's just like downhill, it's just something that scares me. Now, I have done the cross country. I think they call it in Switzerland Langelauf or something like that. I'm sure I'm butchering that term. But what encouraged me was there was this really handsome man named Mario or Massimo who was giving the lessons. Oh, I think this was about 6 years ago. And as much as I didn't want to go, I'd rather just walk around the town and eat pasta, truffle pasta, by the way. But I hung out. I kept falling, but Massimo was there to pick me up. And my partner at the time was happy that I was engaged. But it's good. I think it's much harder to do the cross country and just stand up, right? And then because downhill actually it just frightens me so much. I don't know what I'm just probably just a coward or whatever. I just no. But yeah, I try.
So again, you going around all these glamorous places, but not necessarily participating in all the activities, rather being a part of
Why?
or something, just sort
What's
of
the point?
You have fun.
Exactly.
She develops insights like, oh, at that place you want to ask for extra butter on your hot toddy.
Yeah, exactly. Hot toddies are great.
But the benefit is, Colleen, you can actually sit there going, I'm staying where it's warm. I've got a hot drink. You guys go out and play. And with the There.app, you can just see where everybody is. They all seem to be en route to the hospital for some reason.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You could track everybody. That would be really cool.
Exactly. That's actually a really good idea.
Yeah.
For ski.
Yeah, ski trips where, you can see just
how
far up a mountain everybody is.
That is, one of the areas in which we look to provide value that most collaborative apps don't have to concern themselves. And I'm talking about like personal safety in a number of regards, because, when you're on location for work, you're fairly likely in some circumstance where, some more effort should be taken to assure people's privacy, safety, and so forth. And yeah, we pretty conscientiously incorporate features that we could anticipate, being useful in that regard, including the location sharing. Oh my God, somebody's in the hospital. Hopefully that's not often the scenario, but like, I'm lost. Can you help me? Like, can you come? Like, I'm lost and I, not feeling good about being lost. Can someone come find me? Like just the facilitation of like live communication and integrating like location features with that. And, helping fill that role in these distinctive circumstances of working on location where, people's safety should be of elevated concern.
Well, absolutely. And this is the thing. I mean, it's something that perhaps people don't have enough conversations about, but in your event planning life, you're going to have things that just go terribly wrong. It just will. I mean, it's just that percentage chance, it just gets more and more likely. So having something like their app or their.app means you can react so much quicker to something that's happening, without having to rely on, is the radio going to work? Will it get through all the different walls or different levels of the building? So having There.app on there, and you can then just go, right, I can see who's closest, I'll send them over.
Right.
Yeah. As an event planner for many, many years, one of the biggest cause of anxiety is making sure that as much as control that you in the planning process that you think that you have, and you know that something's going to happen, and you just have to anticipate for it, like damage control. But one of the things for that There.app can actually resolve is a sense that if things do happen, you have the wherewithal with the app to resolve it on site. Like, for example, the share module, location module, and the chat module helps. Like, I don't have to go after looking for these people and trying to make sure that they respond to me. It's actually there, because with just spreadsheets and Slack or email or text, and it's not gathering everyone all at once. It's just harder. So that's why I'm pushing for this, because I know shit happens and it always does as an event, whether you're at a trade show, whether you're at a wedding, whether you're at a bar mitzvah, wherever you are, it's going to happen. And this, as far as damage control, I think There.app is a significant, it will help.
Do you reckon then that using the app is a quicker way to respond than it is to do like a round robin call on radios? Who's closest? Please speak. With the app, just looking at a screen going, like, Dave's closest, like, I'll get him to go. But if it's radios, you have to find out where people are, because radios don't give their GPS positions. So that must be a quicker way to respond to something untoward that's happening.
Yes, and we can be used to fulfill the essence of the radio functionality as well. Like, we have chat functionality, as we've mentioned. That chat functionality includes like voice dispatch capabilities that will evolve towards more and more familiar walkie-talkie like motifs. But like, you know, at the moment, if you need to be hands-free and you just need to like ask a simple question like, you know, who's closest now, share your location, you can voice that out to your team, and when they get it, that can include a request from you to turn on their location sharing. Everybody can flip it on, and immediately you'll see them populate on the map. Or obviously anybody who wants to respond to you by voice or text can do that.
Well, I suppose it depends on the chief event organizer's policy, whether it's the GPS position, so you know where everybody is. It's always on during the event and then switched off outside of hours. Because imagine, again, if you've got to do any sort of checking to see who's closest and ask people to put on their position, you know, to indicate their position in the app, then again, it's going to take a little time. So if you've got a medical emergency, you want to see who's closest. Instead of doing the lots of radio calls to find who's closest, you go, Dave, you're closest. Go to this location right now. And if he's close enough, he can probably see what's going on. So yeah, I'm there, I'm doing it. Which for the event planner, the organizer, is going to go, right, that's been dealt with. Great, that's a weight off my mind.
I just recently got back from KubeCon in Salt Lake City, and one of the communities that I'm associated with, it's a wonderful small group of people. It's the deaf and hard of hearing community in that tech sector, and it's a bunch of leaders and developers who've been pushing for this particular event or conference to make it more accessible for their community, whether it's like caption and just bringing interpreters to, sessions. And then, of course, having them be a part of, the CFP process and just being speakers or, even keynotes. So one of the things when I was showing them the app is like, and this addresses what we're talking about, is no more where are you panic, is they thought that this would be great because there are as many interpreters that they may have on site. There are times where they need one in an emergency setting. And they thought that having this app, when one of the people of the community needs an interpreter, which are hard to find because they usually have like maybe one for every 3 people, that they could just like, hey, where are you? We need you here. And the location and, just where are you? And the sharing location would help. So I've been talking to them and they were asking, and Seth, I was going to talk to you about this in the afternoon for a meeting or
That's
demo.
live on the show, you're telling me.
Yeah,
We talked
yeah.
about it
That
a little
they want
bit,
us,
but I guess I'm going to learn more.
they are asking for a video captionized, of course, to show them, and so they can present to this and to their community for the next event because they're constantly being asked to go. I mean, there's a group going to AWS reInvent in 2 weeks. Well, less than 2 weeks, and that's a huge event. KubeCon was big, but it's not as big as reInvent. So that was something new that I did not expect, I guess is what I'm saying. That sort of community that would need it for certain modules, because there's a lot of modules that I like, the event schedule, the tasks. My favorite is the sharing a location, but they need it specifically for that. The where are you? We need you here. And then don't forget, these files are available. And of course, the media side. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I think so. Well, that's all pretty cool. So how many modules are there that you can load in on demand? I mean, how many do you think?
There are essentially 10. We have an 11th that's in development now, which we're happy to talk about a little bit as well. It's an interesting one. But
well, we can come on to future developments and what you're looking to.
Yeah.
So we talked about some of the good use cases. Is there anything unusual that the app's been used for? Something like, I never expected anybody to use it for that.
There are really interesting ones, but it's hard for me to say that I never thought that. Like, I don't know. I find like whenever I let my imagination run at all, I'm like, oh yeah, that'd be an interesting use for us. But we can mention a couple of them. One is Colleen joined me for in San Francisco a couple months ago is basically an experiential on-premises gaming evening. So we're friendly with, and one of our launch partner customers is a game shop, actually literally called Dogpatch Games, although it's really more an experiential space for gameplay. Like people have monthly memberships there, and there's Dungeons and Dragons kinds of things. And I don't think Colleen or I are gaming enthusiasts, whatever other things people like these days besides Dungeons and Dragons. And we did an evening of gameplay, and it was a game in which there's like conspiracies happening and sort of like mistrust and subterfuge. So the app was basically used for the entire evening, and that evening, like among other things, included a dinner with that included like choice from a menu. So we accessed the menu in the app, we placed our orders in the app. People found how to get to the place from the Dogpatch Games from the train station or wherever they were coming from in the app. And then we actually use the app in gameplay, right? So instead of people seeing like me and Colleen huddling in a corner, we could discreetly chat within the app. And one other pilot customer or launch partner of ours is called Neighborly Support Foundation, I think. I'm not positive. It's definitely NSF. It is a non-government organization, nonprofit in Nigeria. In that one, they basically mobilize a group of volunteers to provide some relief services in sort of a flood impacted area on a monthly basis. And they're ramping up use of our app as basically like, the organizational basis of those monthly field mobilizations of volunteers.
Well, I can imagine with the things that the US has gone through recently with various storms and various other really bad weather events, having something where you can actually track volunteers and people who are trying to render services, it would be essential to know that everybody's safe, where they are. So what have you got coming up? What's the new features you've been dreaming up?
I have a very precise pipeline. I'm the product guy. So yeah, so the next major advance we're going to have is basically like an automatic homepage for a project. Our most recent module that we launched, we call Board. It's kind of like a bulletin board, and that basically lets somebody build a page for the project. So again, like we have these 10 modules, but if you go into a project, like you're on your feet working, right? Part of our sensitivity to use cases, you shouldn't have to like go module by module through 10 lists to figure out what's important. So this bulletin board lets you build a page with whatever's most essential in the project, right? So if Colleen's our project manager, maybe I put her personal card from our team module on top of that page. And the second thing in the page is maybe the venue where our activities is. That's from our places module. And the third thing is maybe, our event plan, which is a Google Doc. So that's there from our files module. And so that can provide great value to help people get oriented and immediately productive. And a lot of the essence of our app is to let your attention be heads up and not too much in the device. So the more considerately and concisely we can give you what you need to know to be successful in your project, kind of the better we equip you to be successful in your project by being able to focus on it real world instead of in some technology. And likewise, this new home module will basically be an automatic version of that. So, whether or not the project manager organizes a front page or whether the board module is used for some other purpose, there's kind of automatically like a main project dashboard that includes capabilities to pin the most important items to the top there. But regardless, we'll like fill you in like, hey, here's the 10 modules, in very short, here's what each one of them does, and here's its status within the particular project. Among other things, this is going to really, we think, open up like how fluid the navigation in our app is. Like you'll be able to at any time jump back to that homepage and just use that as your, quick roadmap for the place you need to get to next. So that's coming up. One other thing I'd love to expand on that's coming up after that, and I want to mention it just because, frankly, it comes up in sales calls frequently, is like, wait a minute, like if I'm putting a file here and I don't want my client to see it, how does that work? As we're recording in November of 2024, the way that works is if you have a project, people see in 8 of our 10 modules, if you have a project, anyone in the project sees the contents, meaning if I assign a task to Colleen, everyone in the project is going to see that. I can't have that be for Colleen's eyes only currently. If I have a chat with Bob, then other people aren't seeing that. So our chat module and the location sharing, that is default private. The other 8 modules, files, events of calendar, tasks, like right now, those are open within the project. There are ways to work around this. You can set up separate projects, but ultimately we realize that we need an ability to be like, all right, I'm adding this file, and this file is only for visibility by, my colleagues, or, this file is only visible to Colleen. So that level of access control, like those are the main things that will be coming out over basically like the next, several months.
Yeah, and the purpose of that is because while on location and you have your teams at these events, they invite not only their internal teams, they invite outside vendors. And so as much as they love having this module for the whole team on site, they understand that the team does involve outside vendors that don't need to see all of the paperwork and files and all that other stuff. So that was their main concern, especially some of the demos that we've been hearing, the feedback from the demos that we've been giving in the last 3 months. So so I think I just wanted to make sure that, the reasoning from that is because it's not that they were trying to hide anything. It's just like both. There's not some information you just don't need to know, and if you're putting like an agreement letter in there and you need your outside vendors to be on this particular project, there's no need for them to see it. So they were really concerned about that. I didn't think that was a big deal, but I don't know, I guess so.
Well, the other thing, of course, is you want people to focus on their own task as or their involvement within the project. So you don't
Right.
really want them to get reading other people's
Right.
what they have to do, their tasks, their objectives, because you should really just
Yeah.
focus on what you've got to do.
Right.
And you
Exactly.
have everybody say, well, how come we're not doing that? We could have done that. We could have done it cheaper. Yeah. So you're going to sort of like just keep people on track and on task. Which,
Yes.
Yeah, and again, like keep their focus heads up, like whatever we can do to support, like not distracting you with some other, series of peripherally important issues. Like the more we get you to focus on where you are in the live activity you're engaged in.
yeah. And also, I mean, people, you have vendors coming in to provide services because that's what they're really good at. Doesn't mean to say that, yes, they've got other things they can do, but if it's sort of like a subsidiary service, no, we've got you here because you're good at this. So just do that. And don't worry about anything else. And we're not going to tell you anything else. You just concentrate on your job. Is there any thoughts about opening up the platform to outside developers to make their own modules? API access, that sort of thing.
Well, essentially, yes. We also kind of already have a way to integrate practically any other app or environment into like being organized in There.app, which is basically like, if it's a web accessible service, which pretty much every app is these days, the front door to your use of it can be in our web module. So, if you like have an Asana project and there's a URL for that Asana project, organize that in our web module, and at least we can be like, a front door to hop out to that. We have done some API work in our files module in particular. So right now, if you put in a share URL from Google Drive or Dropbox or Microsoft SharePoint or anything else like that, will kind of be organized and accessible and functionally integrated. And that will extend to our other modules, most especially in the near term to calendar functionality. So more preview of what's up in our pipeline, but ways that you can basically one click, transpose an entire calendar that's already organized in Outlook or Google Calendar or Apple, and, just kind of one click push it over to our app. In terms of like others building on our environment, like, I guess we look forward to getting to the usage scale where that makes sense and people are knocking on our door to do that.
Yeah, I can imagine having like a module.
Yeah,
people developing, saying, "Oh, we need to add this to the marketplace. We've come up with a module." Yeah, scheme tips or something, so you don't keep falling over.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, that sounds really exciting. Really exciting. It's good to see that things are moving forward, and you've got all these great ideas coming up. So, anything else? Any more exciting developments?
Well, we're still looking for launch partners, beta users to use it, so we can get more feedback to help with the launch 2025. So I guess that's why we're asking people like you to help get the word out. Bob, you're awesome.
Well, if anybody is interested, we'll make sure there's a link in the show notes in the description. So if anyone wants to go find out, go for it.
Yeah, just to connect what both of you just said, basically, like, Colleen's reference to the fact that, like, engagement is really like what's informing us, is the reason for the good ideas that you complimented that are coming forward. Like, it's really just from us being devoted to like, getting field use and, observing, and to the degree we can, participating in that field use to realize like, this is another area where people's execution on location could be, better supported. So that's where the ideas come from.
That's the thing, isn't it? You engage, you show people what it's all about, and then you iterate from feedback.
Yeah.
It doesn't stand still. It's not
right.
You have to keep pushing it and refining it to make sure everybody's happy with it and it's useful and the UI looks great and it's workable. So that's all.
Unfortunately, they call it software. So yeah, you can keep remolding it.
Well, yeah, you keep remolding it, but either you ruin it or you improve it.
Right.
It's a fine line, I think, a very fine line.
And the bonus, Seth, you want to talk about the bonus, for people who use it for projects within the next couple of months and give the feedback, is we're offering a bonus of 2 years access of the app for free for up to 50 users.
Oh, that sounds pretty good. Right, anybody listening, please go click that link and go and find it. You're gonna do it. You're gonna do it. Well,
It is on our homepage. On the top of our homepage, you can see a link to launch partners, so it lays out more details.
Yeah.
Well,
as I said, we'll put links in the show notes to make sure everybody knows where to go. That'd be pretty cool.
Okay.
Right, before we finish up then, totally different topic. Your favorite bit of music. I want to build up a Spotify playlist based on what the people think is their favorite track, the thing they will listen to that picks them up or makes them think, or it's just a good feel track. You know what I mean? The track that makes you feel. So I'm going to go with you, Colleen, because I know it's a podcast and nobody else can see it, but I can see London Calling poster sitting right behind you. The Clash. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, that was a birthday gift last year from a friend because he knew that I love the Clash. So yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
So what's your question? I'm sorry to interrupt.
well, next time you're in the UK, you're going to have to, and if you can't find me, I'll do it, is take you to the places where some of the iconic Clash pictures were taken, like on the steps.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
So I know we mentioned the Clash, but what is your feel-good track? If I'm going to take you've got one.
My feel-good track from the Clash is usually, there's two, usually Train in Vain and Police and Thieves. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Down to Brixton, I pretty like. That's
That
good.
too.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's good.
And
right. Okay. So again, well, I'll put some links in the show notes, but yeah, and we're going to build up this Spotify playlist, so that's there. So Seth, so
yes.
I know you've got an Elvis Costello fixation.
True. I do, and I have a track, especially with your instructions of, setting a certain vibe and lifting energy. I will go with a deep track. It is, or deep cut. It is called Clown Strike, in which the lyrics include the fact that the clowns threw down their tools.
As long as it's not crowd strike, because that's
right.
Not a great topic from a perspective. Okay, clown, that's pretty cool. I'm not familiar with that one.
Me either. I mean, what's so funny about having an understanding is kind of my favorite.
But Train in Vain is in my repertoire, Colleen, and I don't know. Let's see.
We can't hear it.
We're not hearing it, Seth.
Seth, we can't hear it.
Yeah, okay.
No.
I can imagine how good it was, but some things you can't explain, no way. All right.
For listeners, Seth tried playing the harmonica, and for some reason the sound cut out.
Oh,
dear. That's brilliant. All right.
Very high quality filtering software.
Maybe I'll get you to do the intro music in future.
Oh, that would be great.
The intro music. Yeah. Now, one of my favorite tracks. It's the one I always put on when you want to feel good and you want to do stuff, and that's ELO, Mr. Blue Sky.
Ah.
Oh, I love how it has that fake ending, and it's just brilliant. It is a feel good track. Sunshine and blue skies. It's a brilliant track. I mean, we don't have any blue skies right now, so listening to that really perks me up. So.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. Well, thanks so much for your time, guys. We've gone from skiing trips to tracking people into crisis and Elvis Costello and the Clash. It's brilliant.
Yeah, leaving them up.
Yeah, it is brilliant.
We'll have to get you back in a few months' time just to see how you're getting on, and we'll make sure this time that we'll get a harmonica solo from Seth.
Okay.
Yeah. I do. Speaking of music, I did use the app for a local concert here. I was asked to stage manage, and what it helped more is to try to get people on stage, like, just scheduling them and making sure that they were not somewhere else, like where they needed to be. And that helped a lot. And these are all the 10 artists that were scheduled to be on stage. So if that helps, since we're talking about music, and it worked perfectly. So
Brilliant.
anyway.
Oh, you can track all the band members to make sure they've all turned up.
Yeah, I can I'll send you the link of I put together something of that concert in LinkedIn. So just to give you more information about how
We'll
that
put
works.
the link in the description for that one as
Okay.
well. I can just imagine you sort of like, where's the lead singer? Oh, he's still in the bar.
Exactly. Believe me.
Again, thank you so much for your time, guys, and we'll get you back soon for an update on how things are going.
Okay.
Great,
Thanks, Bob. Bye-bye.
If you would like to be a guest or have an idea for a future topic, then please get in touch. Links are in the description. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the EPN Community Podcast on your preferred podcast platform, so you'll be notified of future events. Thanks to our partners and patrons, There.app, FizzPod, Chatty, Mesa, and the Power of Events. Not only do they help to keep the lights on, but they also help to make this podcast possible. Links with details on how you can become a patron are also in the description. And lastly, thank you for listening. Until next time.